If my life was a car driving down a long road, I was sitting in the back seat. I would let whoever I was in the presence of take the wheel. I wasn't interested in being in control because I had told myself that sitting in the driver's seat will only lead to conflict, and I cannot be held responsible for anything to do with the word. But I was looking for my AirPods because I needed two. Didn't realize I had both in my ears. I want to talk about a prevalent theme in my life, which is people pleasing. I thought that I could live the rest of my life adhering to the needs of others, and it would lead to a harmonious and peaceful life. It in fact resulted in the latter. I became addicted to the validation of others after betraying myself, and I was fine with existing in that space. I was given the title of the nice, quiet girl, but it didn't feel good. I never felt like I was doing enough. You cannot achieve peace by abandoning your own. I thought that if I gave away enough of myself, I would be seen as higher or more valuable. I placed the entirety of my value on how much I could give to people without expecting anything in return. But it doesn't benefit anybody. When we don't express ourselves freely, we become drowned in whatever it is that we're trying to avoid within ourselves. Well, I was so deathly afraid of being seen as mean or upsetting people. I didn't realize that my simple existence is going to upset people, and that's the same with everybody. To live is to be judged. There's no escaping that. And there's so much liberation in realizing that as well. If I upset someone or made them feel even slightly uncomfortable, it made me feel unclean and disturbed. I have upset people by choosing myself, and you will upset people by choosing yourself. I feel like even now I'm still anxious about how I'm seen, because obviously, I was going to say that nobody wants to upset people, but I guess there are some people out there that don't give a fuck. I am so jealous of people like that. I wish that I didn't care. People pleasing becomes immensely counterintuitive when you take extreme measures to maintain your perceived appeasement in the eyes of others. Every anxious thought that you have about other people and how you're being perceived is you judging yourself through the eyes of somebody else. None of it's real. This is all imaginative energy. This is all creative energy that can be kind of funneled into something that is beautiful, something that is productive, and not just perceiving and imagining. I would shrink myself down to something bite-sized and digestible to uphold my title of the nice girl. I'd be quiet. I wouldn't speak my truth. I'd agree with things that I didn't agree with just so that I could avoid controversy or conflict. I didn't allow myself to enter conflict. It's very important to understand your beliefs. There's so much growth in the topics that you avoid. I have experienced the extremities that come with being a people pleaser, abandoning myself and abandoning my body, not believing my body when it tells me something. My body and soul were screaming for acknowledgement. I had scheduled weekly visits to my medical practitioner. She couldn't figure out what to do with me. I saw my GP every single week just to talk, because I didn't have anyone to talk to. And I told myself that I couldn't ask people for help because I wouldn't be taken seriously. I would be judged. She encouraged me to see a psychiatrist. She could not get to the root of my physical symptoms. And the physical symptoms are no joke. Abandoning your body is no joke. Abandoning your mental state is abandoning your body. Your body controls your mind, and your mind does not control your body as much as it thinks that it does. I had high blood pressure, constant nausea, severe exhaustion, enhanced derealization, even as I lived a healthy lifestyle. It's very important to realize the ways that your nervous system reacts to threat. There's an ant on my leg. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn. I think there's a fifth one. Those are the four that I remember. I am a flyer. I fly away. Like that song. I'm like a bird. But I only fly away. But I have a tendency to abandon my body, dissociate, become derealized. I had become so used to abandoning myself that ignoring the initial warning signs were light work. So the initial warning signs were the mental challenges that I was facing. I felt disappointed, angry. I was very angry. I was mostly disappointed in the people or the lack of support that I had. I've got some incredible people around me, so beyond grateful for that. That's not to say that they're not good people. They're amazing people. I didn't go to them for help because I was expecting that I would be met with judgment. The first step of kind of overcoming the mental challenges is to be aware of them and to be aware of your subconscious reactions, the way that your body reacts before your mind follows. If I'm feeling confident enough, I will not fly away, but I will fawn. Wait, let me actually Google this. Fawn, flight, and freeze are 3 of the automatic stress and trauma responses managed by the nervous system when facing a perceived threat. That's literally what I said. These ants, they're everywhere. I am entering the ant space. The responses dictate how a person instinctively responds to danger. So fawning is appeasing, pleasing, or trying to manage the behavior of a threat to avoid conflict and stay safe. People pleasing. People pleasing. I'm so sick at the moment too. If my life was a car driving down a long road, I was sitting in the back seat. I would let whoever I was in the presence of take the wheel. I wasn't interested in being in control because I had told myself that sitting in the driver's seat will only lead to conflict, and I cannot be held responsible for anything to do with the word. I wasn't allowed to feel that. I couldn't associate myself with it. I hadn't accepted that part of myself. Like, there is no good and there is no bad, there is only your perception of it. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. I thought that if I remained ignorant to my own experience, I wouldn't be held responsible for my actions. I basically piggybacked off of people that I didn't like because I could always just remind myself that I'm not the one making the decisions. I'm just observing the life of a misfortunate other. I wasn't observing their lives. I was living in my perceived understanding of their lives. As humans, we are selfish. It is natural. It's how we all function. You can't put yourself in somebody else's shoes. You can't exist as somebody else. So why would your life revolve around somebody else? To be a people pleaser is to deny yourself the natural instinct that is judging others, that is being selfish. We are all by nature selfish. We have to be. You're literally wasting your energy, your perception that other people have of you. And it's so funny because I was liberated by being called a bad person over and over and over and over again, even after the extreme lengths that I would go to uphold my meticulously curated perception of self. It's all about control as well, at the end of the day. We want to control the narrative selfishly. I had realized that the light in which I am perceived has absolutely nothing to do with who I am as a person and depends inherently on that individual's perception of themselves. You perceive people the way that you perceive yourself. You can only meet people as deeply as you've met yourself. So you can only see the good and or the bad in a person if you have seen that exact same thing in yourself. You can argue that you don't uphold the same characteristics as a person. It doesn't have to be precise or exact, but the root reason as to why they're doing what they're doing and to why you're judging them for doing what they're doing are in parallel. You can't have one without the other. Both. Your life experience is the result of your individual perception. Your entire life and your views of your life and the way that life is, and that's just the way life works, and only come about by your perception and what you accept. So people are going to tell you what to think, how to live your life. It's up to you to be so confident in yourself and your beliefs and your values that they cannot dictate that. If your thought processing and decision making depend entirely on how others will perceive you, you are fighting a losing battle. There are a multitude of perspectives that will view you one way or another. So the foundation that you're standing on has zero structure. You're not living for yourself, you're living for your perceived idea of other people. You become as malleable or dense as the person you are facing. You are living within a system that you have created in your mind. You are living life in the backseat of your own vehicle. In the past, I couldn't face my negative side, so I would adopt any beliefs that others had of me. I relied on outsiders' subjective opinions of me to determine who I was. Your mind does create your reality, and if you have a chaotic mind, then you will become unhealthy. If you need your mind and your body to survive, so to abandon one is to neglect the other. You're neglecting yourself. You can also attract certain people and experiences that reflect your self-neglect back to you. You'll attract people that will emotionally abuse you or contort you into something that they are, because you're so malleable, and they can see that. It's easily readable. You'll just come across people that won't believe in you, that won't respect you, because you don't respect yourself, so why should they? And then you'll tell yourself that you live in a harsh world that doesn't respect you, nobody cares about you, and you'll build your entire existence around the fact that you are a victim to your experience. But in reality, you're not just a victim to your experience, you're a victim to yourself. I have a hard time with it, actually. You're allowed to be a victim. There's an amount of accountability that you have to take for yourself to uphold your self-respect. And so long as you hold yourself accountable, you'll be okay. Accountability is the second step. I just want to finish with something that I wrote, but I called it Rain because I probably wrote it about the rain while it was raining. Rain is the surge of energy being released to make way for new blessings. Notice how it rains after and during times of hardship. The only difference between transformation and hardship is your individual perception of it. You can cry about your circumstance, and honestly, I encourage your doing so, but don't blame the rain for too long. It is simply a manifestation of your journey's progression. Let the rain wash over you and accept it as a truth. What's to come is important enough to call upon the rain for guidance. You're not burdened, you're blessed. Take this message as confirmation. Take it as a sign that it's happening in real time. There's a cleansing, a repurposing, a new way of life. Plants aren't the only thing that perk up after the fall. We too are nature. You can look outside to notice nature and realize that what's happening out there is what's happening within yourself.